in the show. So she might be a descendant. She might be related to Khan, maybe as like a brother, or maybe Khan is the father that she lost, but maybe he's really alive. I don't know.
I don't think they're going to do any retconning. I think it's, everything's supposed to fit continuity wise. So Botany Bay is not found until Space Seed.
That's true.
But it's not retconning, it's filling in the blanks that Khan could have had descendants that were on Earth.
Yeah.
And this is one of them. And I want to know the backstory with the colony that she was on.
Yeah. No, that was fascinating. I was pleasantly surprised, or I should say happy, that the Uhura character turned out well, because that's such a hard role to do.
Agreed. And the turbo lift scene with her with the alien, and the fact that she's been studying like what sports they like, and she immediately engages with him on a level that he understands. So she probably could have talked him down from the entire situation instead of Chapel just hypo-spraying him. Yeah. But yeah, that was different. I'm not going to take credit for this. Somebody posted, it would be fun to have a scene where Nurse Chapel, number one, and the computer all interact, since all were played by Major Barrett.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just because that'll be a nice little Kisme moment if we could have that.
That would be funny. I was also happy. I like the Spock guy. I mean, I'm not like saying he's the greatest, but I mean, obviously he has a lot to live up to. But I like him. The guy, he has that voice, don't you think?
Ethan Peck is perfect as Spock, and he. Have you ever listened to Mon's podcast, The Well?
I have not.
So they did an episode while filming Discovery with Ethan Peck, and they talked about the gravity of playing the different roles. And they both respect what they're doing. And I think he has a lot of gravitas as Spock. The only one that it's 10 years in prior to TOS.
Yes.
So Chapel seemed a little out of character, but that's also because she's 10 years younger.
Yeah.
So by the time we see Nurse Chapel in TOS, she could be a little bit more reserved. And by the time of the motion picture, she's an MD.
Yeah.
But she seemed like more she was civilian. I think in university still, I could be wrong.
Yeah, they said Stanford, which was cool.
Yeah, I was just like, woohoo. And
you go to Stanford?
No, but my grandfather's dental practice was at Stanford.
Oh, that's so cool.
And then they're also 2-0 in saving my life from emergency surgery. So kind of got strong feelings for them there. But no, my grandfather had season tickets to their basketball and football games for over 50 years.
Wow.
So yeah,
big fans.
Yeah, they gave him an honorary degree. So yeah,
yeah, that's pretty impressive.
Big fans.
Yeah. Did well for my family. I'm definitely on board with go team. Unless they're playing Davis, then my alumni, then my hat comes out. So
any other takeaways from this episode?
The Enterprise is cool.
I know.
It's the right mix of showing that hot rod in space. It was Neil deGrasse Tyson at Comic-Con or some event where he opined about why people love that design is it's sleek and beautiful. And they captured that, and we get a space dock scene, but it doesn't last for 5 minutes with no one talking and just not looking. And it's not like the motion picture. Yeah. It's just long enough for everyone to go like, yeah, let's take her for a spin. And then they do.
Yeah.
So that was cool. And the fact that the smaller scout ship with one nacelle is the Archer.
Yeah, that was a cool tribute. That was really cool. Yeah. I gotta tell you, the whole time I watched the episode, I had goosebumps. Like I was shaking of happiness. I'm just like, this is so well done from the intro to God. I mean, just the way Pike can inspire. I mean, he's such an anomaly in the Star Trek universe because he could be one of the greatest captains if he lived and did longer, but it's so short lived, right? It's like Bo Jackson in sports. Like if you studied Bo Jackson when he played was like one of the greatest baseball players, but he didn't play long enough to like break records. You know what I mean? But if he did, he would have pulled like, I don't know, some hits or homers or something,
Yeah, we also haven't seen enough of him. So when you think of the peaks that we've had at Pike, there was the failed pilot where he was just too moody and cerebral, and that was not a good pilot. We then get him in the Cage, which again, so Menagerie to Cage or Cage, again, being dyslexic, I'm flipping them back and forth because they use this. But again, we know what we're talking about. And that's also the first trial episode that we see in Trek. So there's that. And then we get him again in the 2009 movie.
Yep.
Which highlights the huge inspiration factor with, like the bar talk and all the other inspirational moments that we see him have. So we've been teased. And then when we get him in Discovery Season 2, they really knock it out of the park. New Eden is especially good, where, we find out he's like the son of a theologian and a scientist. So that had to be interesting dinner time conversations. Yeah. So he has that mix of, he's got faith and respects faith, but also a man of science.
Yeah.
Which is all kind of un-Roddenberry.
Very un-Roddenberry, yeah.
Which I'm fine with. I'm fine with faith. And this feels right. Like it's a pilot 55 years in the making.
Yeah. I can't tell. I'm so pumped. I'm going to make a prediction that this show is, out of the three, this, Discovery, Picard, it's going to be the most popular. And I'm not dissing the other two. They're great. I mean, they're awesome, especially season 2 of Picard. But man, there's something magical. Even the trailer, like when you hear La'an saying, this ship, this crew, they can do anything. I have that stuck in my head when I see the trailer. And then when I see this episode, and I don't know.
Star Trek is good and inspiring. And it's a little harder to do that when they're doing a giant story arc.
Yeah.
At least Picard and Discovery have had troubles with it.
Yep.
Deep Space Nine knocked it out of the park. They were really good at doing that. But they also, again, it was just different story writing, different writer's room, different factors at play. Star Trek works great with episodic storytelling.
Yeah.
And they're going for, let's inspire people. And the message of let's be better, let's help people. The story could have ended in the elevator. It's like, all right, we got our people. Let this planet kill itself.
Yeah.
We're done.
Yeah.
And instead we get take me to your leader. And it's like, but the fact that he's watching the day the earth stood still, that's a nice little love letter to sci-fi. So
yeah. No, I was telling Gabby earlier that I think every kid needs to watch Star Trek, especially this show. It is so inspiring. It's like, you think the future's grim, watch Star Trek. You can learn so much.
Just because today is grim,
yes,
doesn't mean hope is lost.
Correct.
Doesn't mean that you give up on a better tomorrow. You got to fight for it.
Yeah.
And we see that planet going like, getting inspired with, all right, we're going to figure out warp drive. It's like, because they can't just join the Federation. They figured out a bomb. Like they need to figure out warp drive now to join the Federation. The other thing that tickled me was Admiral April.
Okay.
Character introduced in the animated series as the first captain of the Enterprise. And seeing him live action for the first time in 48 years. I think that episode aired the year I was born. So it's like, well done.
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys know this, but just to confirm, the April was the first name, like the original name that Gene Roddenberry wanted for the captain. And that's how he wrote it. And then they changed it over to Pike. And then they changed it over to Kirk. Is that correct? Am I reading that right? I saw it in that video you sent.
Yeah, I think so.
I believe so. I mean, the first time around, the ship was going to be the Farragut.
Oh, yeah.
And then they went like, which is, we've had USS Farraguts that have done important things. Not as cool as name as Enterprise.
Yeah.
And because of what the real Enterprise did during World War II, ensured the Navy will always have a ship named Enterprise. So it made sense in 1966 when the World War II generation is at its prime making things, that the ship would be named Enterprise.
That's true. That's a cool one.
That's a cool one. Any final takeaways on this episode?
God, I'm happy.
I am too.
I thought it was great.
It's just,
I know.
go around hugging people.
The world
Like
is
if I
today.
could cry
The
of
sun is
happiness,
shining.
I could. I want some onions right now. They'd be crying. It was that good. I'm so happy. Oh my God.
I had a friend who's a judge messaged me and said, that was excellent. Another friend who's a scout leader, his text was, just watch Strange New Worlds. Wow. So, yeah, made people happy.
Yeah.
Like, we're giving people what they want.
I gotta check the Twitter. I wonder what people are saying now.
I've stayed off it, Twitter, because I haven't watched Picard yet. Haven't seen Doctor Strange yet, because this is a really busy nerd week.
I know. I muted Doctor Strange. You can do that. But I do that for a lot of things. I muted Doctor Strange until I see it next week.
Yeah, it's just, I like being surprised.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't want any spoilers. I want to go and enjoy it, which is why, like, I was avoiding trailers for all of these things, because this is a busy nerd week.
It is. It's a busy nerd month. I mean, Obi-Wan comes out. We talked about this. Obi-Wan, Top Gun 2, Doctor Strange comes out next week. This show comes out. I mean, it's a very good, May is a great month for content. Man.
Yeah, it's just, and it also highlights, wow, Gen X is really in charge.
Yeah. Yeah. For now, they are. Yeah.
Yeah, it will change, but
Yeah.
right now you can tell. Looks like people in their 40s and 50s are making green light decisions. So,
Yeah. Oh,
I
man.
love this. It goes forward. So yeah, this was fun, and thanks for having me on to discuss.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Strange New
really
Worlds.
good points. I mean, I thought it was, it was very it was a cool introduction to the beginning.
Yeah. No, for sure, man.
I can't wait for more.